All right, welcome to another Sports and Culture interview. I'm excited to be joined by two individuals who are changing lives in my eyes. I have today Dr. Shira Ackman and Mathis Crowder of CYM. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I appreciate you taking out the time for your Sunday.
Thank you for having us. This has been great.
Thank you.
No problem at all. Kind of just want to start everything off. If you can explain who you are to our listeners and exactly what your program is about and how you're changing lives in these young men.
Okay, sure. My name is Dr. Ackerman, and my husband and I, Mathis, we started the program Creating Young Minds in 2011 with the idea to help give young men opportunities they wouldn't have otherwise had access to. So we started a prep school, our CYM Academy, for high school players and young men in that post-grad year outside of high school so that they could earn college scholarships to play basketball. Most of the guys that we got and we still continue to get in our program are guys with no stars, no rankings, not a lot of attention from college coaches. Some never played high school basketball. Some were seniors or juniors on the junior varsity. So we take guys that don't get opportunities and help them get access to those opportunities. And academically, they were struggling as well. So when we first started, we partnered with Winfrey Charter Academy, one of the local charter schools here, for our guys to continue their high school education and make sure that they were successful in the classroom. And then we spent a lot of time working with them off the court, aside from basketball. And I'll let Mathis, my husband, explain some of what we do that, basketball is just really what we use to get their attention. But what we do and talk to them and spend most of the time about has nothing to do with basketball. It has to do with them growing up and being successful young men in the community.
Well, basketball, basically, my name is Mathis Crowder, and I coach them, mentor them, do everything with them. Basically, we bring them into our program and teach them how to, be their own man. Teach them about, teaching them about growth. The biggest problem in the world today is our young men, they're not growing. They still, they'll be 18 years old and then they'll be 25 and they have the same mindset.
Right.
The goal is teaching them how to be an entrepreneur, how to be a business owner, how to, the story about, sometimes you can't just keep on giving them the fish. You got to teach them how to fish, and so teaching them how to have character, have some value, because in the world today, if people see you with no value, they don't even want to be, sometimes they don't even want to be around you. They don't even want to work with you if they don't see no value. And so that's our biggest goal, is to teach them, develop their minds. That's why we call Creating Young Minds. We came up with that name because we were just sitting in the room and I kept on talking to my wife and I said, we need to come up with an ideal and a name of our program. This was years ago. And I said, well, the mind is steady going and we're steady creating and teaching and the mind is young. So we got to keep on creating the mind. And it was like Creating Young Minds. So that's what made us come up with it. And basically, as we come along with basketball, we helped a lot of young men get college scholarships. Over 100 plus guys get college scholarships over the past 10 years. A lot of guys then graduated out of college and now playing professional for us. And I'll let her finish that off. But we have moved on from, we still have the prep school, high school, and then we sent them to college, and then we had a lot of guys graduating from college, and now they were trying to play professional. So we started calling agents and talking to people and trying to get them jobs, and that was difficult. It's hard, and it's hard in this business out there. You got so many agents, there's so many jobs, and then you got to go overseas. You got jobs overseas. You got the NBA and the G League, and then you got nothing else. You got semi-pro. So what we did is as we was looking for jobs for the guys, we couldn't find nothing. And, you gotta talk with an agent and try to get them overseas. The basketball league started. The basketball league is all around the country. Have you ever heard of the basketball league,
The TBL?
the TBL?
Yeah, I have not. I was looking at it when I was researching you guys, and I know there's a WBL league here where I'm located at in Greenville, South Carolina, and I'm covering one of the women's teams. So I think she said they're kind of affiliated with the basketball league. So I'm definitely still in the process.
No, they're not.
Oh, okay, they're not. Okay.
Yeah, the basketball league been around 4 years. It started off with 6 teams to 8 teams, and then last year, 2 years ago, 12 teams, and then this year is 29 teams. Next year it'll be 45 teams. Steve Francis have a team. You know Steve Francis.
Yes.
That played in the league, Houston Rockets. Junkyard Dog. He has a team in Las Vegas. Jerome Williams, and then Kendra Perkins just bought a team.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
It's growing all over the country. Yeah, so we went and invested into a team to help our guys that graduated from college and give them an opportunity to get a job. And so basically they come from college and they come from high school, then college, and then come back to us. So we just went and invested into a team. We wanted to try our best to help a lot of our guys to get an opportunity to play professional. So basically, after they done with us, they can go get another job. Basically you got to have a resume to move on to play overseas. If you don't have a resume, they don't give you time of day.
So what we did with adding our professional basketball team, were the Louisville Leopards, to creating Young Minds, it allowed us to be the first replication of the European model for basketball training and development here in the United States. Because typically in the US, it's high school, college, pro, right? So now you have last year, during the pandemic, so the G League started Team Ignite, right? So that they could take the top ranked guys and keep them in the US to get them to the NBA, as opposed to letting them leave and go overseas and play professionally instead of going to college. And now this coming year, you have Overtime that's doing the same thing, but with younger kids, starting at age 16, to keep them in a pro environment, so that then they can, when they graduate from there, either go to the NBA G League or go play overseas in professional leagues. So still to bypass the college system here in the United States. So we started doing this 2 years ago. So we were the first ones to do it, but it's nice to see that there's some growth in different ways of looking at how athletes can go from high school to pro, that it doesn't have to be the exact same way for everybody, because everyone's opportunities are going to be different, and you should give them the access that will give them more opportunities to be successful. So we've got our academy, we've got our high school and our post-grad guys, and then we have our professional team. So our young guys, 17, 18, 19, are practicing and training year round with our guys that are playing on the pro team. So they're with older guys that have gone to college, graduated, come back to play pro, and they're developing and getting those opportunities. And when we have the younger guys play on our pro team, we don't interfere with their amateur status. They don't get paid. They're on a development contract, which is very different than the guys that are getting paid on the pro team. We're just trying to give guys as many opportunities to grow on the court, off the court. We spend a lot of time in our community doing community service. Every Monday we work with CCA, Christian Community Action, and we go and deliver groceries to senior citizens in the area, because Christian Community Action has a pantry. And once the shutdown happened last spring, or maybe 2 springs now, the senior citizens couldn't go into the pantry and shop for their own groceries. And so they started delivering the groceries to them. So we joined them last August, and we go and we help load everybody's cars, all the different volunteers that come to deliver groceries. And then we take 3 separate routes ourselves to go and deliver groceries to the senior citizens. Now, fortunately for them, in October, they're going to get to go back and do it in person. And they're all very excited because they haven't interacted socially with each other since everything started. So the reason we do that is it's part of who we are and why we have our program. But the basketball league is so, it stresses community impact. And all the teams that are now all over the country are making a huge impact in their community, so that everyone's going out and doing community service activities. They're in the schools, they're in the rec centers, they're doing camps, so that the community can get rallied around a team of professional athletes, because most professional athletes you don't really have access to, right? If they do community service events for, NBA Cares, or you still don't get access to them. And the TBL wants the players and, the coaches and the owners and everyone else to be accessible to the fans, so that they make that connection. And that's what helps each team grow, and it helps the community grow. And that's why the TBL has been so successful in growing during the pandemic last year, and expanding to so many teams, because there are so many communities that have that need. And they don't have anything else. Say there's an NBA team, but they're, not in their local area, or they don't have, a baseball team, or they don't have, a football or soccer team. They don't have that professional environment. All they have is high school, right? Which is a big deal in most communities, but they don't have that next level of competitive sports to get involved in. And then you don't have those extra role models for all the kids in the community. Because that's, the teams, you go into schools and you read books with kids, you go in and you have lunch with kids, so that they get to know you. They come to your games. And this year, the TBL started selling player jerseys, right? So every team, there's no name on the back of the jersey, right? Everything is about the team, not the individual. But the apparel company, Infinite Apparel, that does all the gear for the TBL, came up with the idea to have the jerseys with the last name of the player, so they could sell them and the player could make royalties off of it, which is a huge thing for the players. But you go into the gyms around the country and you see fans wearing the players' jerseys. It is just the neatest thing, because now the community's really interacting with the players. You have little kids wearing jerseys of their favorite player on the team. And, so it really is growing because of that community impact. It's really building those relationships.
Yeah, definitely. And I know I'm planning on ordering a Leopards jersey myself. Like, I love them. The yellow and the black, awesome jerseys. Definitely plan on ordering
The white ones look even better. The white ones look even better. We didn't wear those this season.
Oh, okay.
But the white are nice.
Now, question, coming off of COVID, how difficult was it maneuvering through COVID throughout the season?
Well, we're in Texas, so not very difficult at all. Just because things opened up in Texas far earlier than everywhere else, other than Florida. So last July, well, things opened last June. So in July of last year, we started a summer league, because our undiscovered league, and we did something in the summer because every player had been stopped since March. And we knew, it wasn't just the TBL teams in the area, but it was all the players that had come back from overseas, or the college, the players in college. They had nothing to do since March. And so we decided to come up with our league, and had a summer league last July, so that everyone could start playing again, because that's when Texas said you can start having professional activities. There can be sporting events. You can have fans. They can, limited number. People wear masks, temperature checks, the basic COVID protocols. And so it was extremely successful. And then we had a fall league for the same reason, because still nobody's playing anywhere else in the country. The colleges haven't started. The players aren't leaving to go back overseas because the borders haven't opened. The G League bubble hadn't started. Like, there weren't anything for guys to be doing. So we did a fall league for the same reason. It was really successful. And then we did our Creating Young Minds Undiscovered League. And I'll let Mathis tell you more about how that started and now how it's growing to what we're doing right now.
Well, we started off in the Undiscovered Summer League, but through COVID, you know, I was going for a walk, and that's when COVID, everything was shut down, and I was walking around outside and taking the dog for a walk, and then I was thinking, I said, man, I'm thinking the ideals of these young men. A lot of these young men, you know, nobody know who they are, you know, and then I was walking, and I said, they undiscovered. They haven't got discovered. So the league should be called Undiscovered. Our clothing line should be called Undiscovered. So I came up with the name through COVID, and then we started off with the Undiscovered Summer League, and then we started with the apparel, Undiscovered the apparel, and then we started that was the Summer League, and then we started our league, the CYM Undiscovered League, and now we got a trademark because it did very well. We work with Instat. We got a trademark, and we had so much talent in it. Good young men, played hard, but nobody know who they were. And so with us doing the Undiscovered League, we have journalists and sports writers came in writing about them. We had agents coming in. We had pro scouts coming in. Guys got jobs through our Undiscovered League. So it has been amazing. And you can Google it. Like, you can Google the Undiscovered League and so many things come up, and everybody always tell me that. So what we thought about was, man, this is basically, we did the Undiscovered League to keep guys busy to get ready for the TBL season. Now it went so well. Now we're about to have our Summer League next week, the second annual Undiscovered Summer League. And now we got pro scouts. I've been on the phone with pro scouts, and everything are going to be coming to our because you can Google it and it's known. And so what we're doing now is we planning on doing a camp, a pro camp, an Undiscovered Vegas pro camp in Vegas. We'll be in Vegas in August doing the summer league, the NBA Summer League, and then we're gonna do the league again in second year. But this time it's gonna go to a higher level because now sponsors and people are talking about investing into the league. Now we're gonna start paying players. Wow. So now guys don't have to go all the way overseas and make $500 a month or $1,000 a month. So now we're going to, you know, get the sponsors and get the corporations involved and investing into the league to give guys jobs. And we're going to play all the way until February, March, until the TBL starts again. Because around that time, that's the time of the G League is playing, the NBA. So, you know, if you think about it, a lot of those guys that make those G League rosters, and then basically they call in 18 to 20 guys and they cut them all the way down to 10. You know, I'm calling the G League teams and say, hey, okay, why don't you send us those in guys that you didn't want, come to our league, because there's not enough jobs. And I think this is America. We can have some great talent here, and we don't have to get up and fly all the way overseas when we can build it here, build our own table here. It just don't have to be the NBA and the G League. You know, it can be the TBL. You know, it can be the Undiscovered League that help these young men.
Going back to 2011, and I like to ask all business owners this from when you first started. From 2011 to 2021, how proud are you of the progression of your company?
Oh, incredibly proud. You know, it's grown. All the young men that have come through our program, that made it through the program, that went off to college, that graduated, say the ones that are still trying to play professional, but the other ones that are high school coaches or athletic directors or college coaches or teachers, and they run their own teams in the summer. guys that made it through the program, went off to be successful, and are now giving back and helping their community. And that by itself is amazing, you know.
Well, one of the things that gets me is every Father's Day, you know, I get texts and calls. This Father's Day, I got 59 texts and calls from all the young men I helped through the years, from 2011 to now. So that she'll tell you, I was just laying in bed crying. And I just was crying because, you know, I had all these young men that I didn't help. Now they're college coaches, high school coaches. They have families. They're working hard. You know, I even had one basically call me from prison, you know, text me from prison and said, I wish I would have listened to you, you know. And so it just made me, you know, my goal is to plant seeds. And if I can plant a seed, I know I'm not going to save everybody. And I learned that, my mom taught me that you can't save everybody, but you can plant enough seeds. And when you get those calls and those phone calls and they tell you, thank you for what you've done for me, it's the most beautiful thing ever. So from 2011, and I'll say we can go way, we've been doing this for longer than that, you know, before we even started CYM. We was doing it 6-7 years before 2011, me and her 5 years before that, you know, working with these young men. And then that's how we came up with CYM. But just getting those calls and how it feels, the joy when they send me pictures of their family, when they get a great job and they tell me all the people they didn't help in their community, that's more important to me than anything than money and riches and anything.
And it's honestly, when I was looking up you guys and looking at the organization, I thought about myself, like growing up under a single parent household. You needed these type of programs to help guide you and get you through life. And I would have prayed I had a program like this when I was growing up. So you guys, I personally just wanted to thank you for the job and the commitment that both of you guys are doing down there in Texas and making such a difference in so many men's lives. It's absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. And lastly, can you let everyone know how they can follow you and what you have coming up next within your company?
Absolutely. The easy way to find us is you actually just Google Creating Young Minds and then everything comes up. Our website is creatingyoungminds.org. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're on LinkedIn as well. You type in Creating Young Minds. They're all different names, but you'll find all of our accounts. But right now we've got our CYM Undiscovered Summer League that's going to start next Saturday and Sunday for 2 weeks right here in Louisville. And then we will be in Vegas for our CYM Undiscovered Vegas Pro Camp on August 13th and 14th, giving guys opportunities to get seen by scouts and agencies from teams all over the world, because everyone's in one place during the NBA Summer League, as well as G League opportunities and NBA opportunities. We're going to have, coaches in the NBA assistant coaches program are going to be coaching. We have former NBA players that are going to be coaching, just giving guys opportunities. So all of that can be found on our social media and on our website.
All right. Thank you guys again for taking your time out today on the Sunday. I will make sure I spread the word. Before I let you go, I just want to I actually heard about you from a friend of mine that does, I believe, a lot of highlights for you guys on his social media, Ben from BS3 Radio. So,
yes, Ben, yes.
Yeah, I love
Ben does a great job. He covers everything we do.
Yeah, I love Ben.
Ben is great.
Ben, awesome guy. But it's funny when you guys presented to me to interview, and the first thing I saw was the logo. I was like, I know who this is through Ben. So I've been like a year and never knew we was going to have this connection today. So thank you again.
Well, that's great. That's great to hear.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me. You guys have a wonderful Sunday.
You too.
You too. Thank you.